Dynamic entry, welcome back to the channel, guys, and today we're going to be talking about jobs. That's right, the word of the day is job, J-O-B, and not just regular jobs we see day to day. I want to be talking about jobs that we see in the world of anime, and I want to rank them from worst to best and somewhere in between. And much like real life, you need to earn an income, whether it be actual cash or goods or services. You need something to sustain your life. And it's no different in the world of anime. People have to find a way to live. You can't just always go around fighting bad guys, all right? Some people have to keep the society together, and that's what we're gonna be talking about today. And the way we're doing it is everyone's favorite. We're going to be doing tier lists. So S being the best job ever, like, oh my god, I love this place. And F is going to be the worst thing ever, like the meme where it's like, please don't make me get a job. These would be the jobs that people don't want to get in that world. F tier, worst jobs ever. And then everything else is in between. All right, so let's go online. Let's go to Indeed.com and find some jobs. And the first listing that we see would be Kaiju Cleanup from Kaiju number 8. So this job kind of inspired this entire video. I was like, you know what? Yeah, let's do a video about that. Basically, if you don't know, if you haven't seen Kaiju number 8, the main character, Kafka, starts off as a person who cleans up messes after Kaiju battles. So, you know, picking up all the guts and entrails from these Kaijus and cleaning the streets up and making it look pristine and in good condition for the people to continue about their day after the fights happen. And you won't be by yourself, you're part of a crew, much like a custodial services, there are like a crew of people. That's what you have here. You have like 8 to 10 people, and you go to the site and you start cleaning stuff up for 8 hours a day. From what we see in the anime, Kafka is able to afford housing on his own, so he must make decent money, although I don't know how much rent is in Japan. Maybe it's a little cheaper, I would assume, than here in America. One little job might not be enough for you to sustain your own lifestyle. Typical job, at least, you might need 2 to 3 jobs, and Kafka only has this one job, so maybe the pay might be okay, I guess. But as far as the job goes itself, you're just cleaning up all day, essentially, picking up a bunch of stuff. So if you have a strong stomach, you might be able to handle this a little bit more. I don't think I do. I don't think I'd be able to do it, but I mean, the reason Kafka is doing it is because he wants to be part of like the people who fight the Kaiju. I don't know why I said that was Kaiju. Anyway, he wants to be part of that crew, and this is kind of like a job that feeds into that, like the lower level, like the highest level you could be as a Kaiju fighter, and the low level is cleanup crew. So if my dream was to become, you know, part of the Kaiju fighter force, the Japanese Defense Force, maybe I wouldn't mind taking the job. It's like being an intern, you know, you kind of have to have an entry-level position. So for that case, if I'm wanting to pursue something higher in this, I think I'm gonna give this a D. Like, it's not the worst job if your goal is, you know, be part of like management, essentially. So it's okay. The pay might be pretty okay too. So it's not like the worst job, but it's not the best job. It's a D level. It's not C, because it's not, C would be like mid. Like, I don't mind doing this. D, I would mind a little bit, but at least in my mind, like, my end goal is a little bit better than what this job entails. Okay, next job is going to be from the world of Avatar. Shout out to Iroh back there. It's going to be the cabbage merchant. Okay, you know, it's a big meme in the world of anime. Like cabbages, you know? He sells cabbages for a living. He grows them, puts them on his cart every day, travels into town, and sells his cabbages. And that is whatever he makes for the day, is what he can sell for the day. As far as being a merchant goes, you're just essentially selling your own goods all day, which I think is pretty lax. It's pretty cool. It's not a bad job to have. You're just hanging out all day, and it's kind of like being a vendor, you know? It's like, hey, you make good money, then you sell a lot of product, just gotta restock up. It's not a terrible job. It's a pretty decent job. The only part of the job that is bad is the fact that he is tormented by Team Avatar. He gets his cart broken by them at least 4 to 5 times. So if you can deal with that, like, you know, you have 5 bad days out of the entire calendar year, that's not terrible. And, you know, the job is not too bad. I don't know how hard it is to grow cabbages. It must not be that hard. He always has a full cart of them. But he does cherish them, so he cares about them. So he loves what he does, and I feel like if I was a cabbage merchant, I also would love what I do and how, you know, the process of growing the cabbages and selling them. So overall, I think it's a pretty lax job. It's not terrible. The only part would be, you know, Team Avatar. So for that matter, I'm going to give this a B tier job, selling cabbages all day. Hey, not too bad. It's you know, it's not much, but it's honest work. Okay, next job. I would like to do this. That's something that I would think would be fun to do, and that's going to be the tournament announcer. You know, the people in the middle of the ring who announce tournaments, basically, like in Dragon Ball Z and Yu Yu Hakusho, and any tournament arc that you see that has an announcer. That's the job. You would just announce people all day and commentate essentially. Yeah, I think, yeah, you commentate too. So you're a commentator, but you're also a announcer, basically giving play-by-play of the action that you're seeing in the fights. This would be fun. This is just like being a sports broadcaster. I think it'd be a cool job. The only downside would be that the tournaments that we see get pretty dangerous and they always get interrupted by some sort of evil, presence. So that would be the downside, is that it does have hazards. Okay, I don't know if they give you hazard pay because they don't assume that every tournament's going to be bad, but it happens. One Punch Man 2, same thing there. So the danger of it brings it down. Like I would put this like at a high, like A or S tier. But for me, because of the danger, I'm not equipped to fight these kind of people. I would give this job a B tier job, okay? Cool job altogether. All you're doing is just, talking about what you're seeing, but you might get hurt in the process. All right, and for those people who like to work with their hands, you want to get down and dirty, we have a swordsmith from Demon Slayer. Basically, you're an iron worker. You're making swords all day for this Demon Slayer core, basically. You're a weapons, a manufacturer? Yeah, you're a weapons manufacturer, essentially, but you're just by yourself working on swords all day. And from what we've seen from the series, in the Swordsmith Village arc, they have a whole entire village all dedicated to this. So you're surrounded by a bunch of people who are like you. Only thing is, you can never show your face, and you're just working all day. Sometimes you're by yourself. You don't have to work on the crew if you're specifically a swordsmither. Like we've seen Tanjiro swordsmith, he's by himself, he's in a cave just like working by himself all day. So if you like the solitude of like working by yourself and working by your hands, like I have a buddy who's a welder, he likes being in his zone just like working all day. I don't. I want to be around some people, and talk and converse with people. But yeah, people who do like working with their hands, I think that this would get a higher grade for them. Me, it's a cool job, but like I feel like it's very lonely, and I don't think it pays very well from what we've seen. They live in like just like I said, a village by themselves, which I'm assuming they all sustain by like trading goods and stuff like that. So the payment might not be the greatest, but you're doing what you love. So yeah, that's how that you would get paid, I guess, is that you're doing something that you think is fun. But for me, I'm gonna give this a C tier just because it does have some dangers equipped to it, but also the fact that it is very lonely and the pay is not like the greatest. Okay, now we have our first S tier, at least for me, what I think would be the greatest job within the world of anime. It's going to be a baker, and more specifically like Kiki's Delivery Service type baker. You run a bakery, you make baked goods all day. For me, I just love seeing beautiful baked goods. Nothing gets me more emotional than that, and that's not just because I'm fat. It's just like something within me. Whenever I see like a beautiful like pastry, I want to cry. It's like a work of art to me. I'm like, damn, that's beautiful. I don't want to eat it because it's so pretty. And yeah, I think it'd just be very fun and just like relaxing to work in a bakery. You're just like baking goods all day. And I did say it's a little bit lonely by yourself, but also you get to bake the goods and then go out and sell the goods as well. So it's not like completely alone. And in the movie, we see that it's just, husband and wife. So like you and your wife, you and your husband, just working on baked goods all day by yourselves. It's a little bit of hard work, waking up early and getting everything together and collecting like all the goods for this, but I think overall it'd be rewarding to see yourself like make something and someone consume it and be happy with it and come visit you like every day and build that rapport with other customers. So yeah, I think it's just a very chill job, and like I would love to be a baker. So yeah, S tier for me for this job. Okay, and then on the opposite end we have an F tier, the first F tier we have here, and it's only because this job is very dangerous. It's going to be a devil hunter or public safety from Chainsaw Man. You are essentially someone who hunts devils for a living. Like you have to literally fight devils, and if you're not like the strongest devil hunter, you could risk your life every day. Even if you are the strongest, you don't know like what other devils are out there. So unless you're like super powerful or like can't die, kind of like Denji, you're gonna have a bad time. You've seen Kobeni, all right? The way she reacts to everything she's seeing, that's pretty much how a normal person would react. You'd be freaked out the entire time, like, oh my god, that is a light devil and he can't be harmed by anything that has light? What do you mean? And yeah, it's terrible. The only upside would be that I think they get paid relatively well from what we've seen, although Aki and Power and Denji all live together, but I think that's more of like Makima making them do that. But yeah, the pay I think is okay. You get a little bit of glory if you're, decent at your job, and you gotta wear a suit all day. That's kind of cool. not cool when you're working like in an office, just like whatever. But if you're hunting things, wearing a suit is pretty swaggy. I like that. But yeah, it's just the danger of it is just too much. It's F tier, and also yeah, Makima, not the greatest boss. So yeah, it would just not be a great time. And sometimes you're there like against your will, like you've done something bad, or like for Denji's case, like, hey, you don't join us, we're gonna kill you. So yeah, not the greatest infrastructure within place there, but yeah. Okay, next up is a job that as a kid I always thought was super cool, but growing up now I'm like, you know what, that wouldn't be a great job. And that's going to be that of a Gundam pilot, okay? You see Gundams, you're like, damn, that's sick. You see them fighting, you're like, damn, that's cool too. But also when it boils down to it, you're just a soldier fighting an intergalactic space war, essentially, and you're a pawn amongst the bigger, you know, chessboard here. So it's not cool, and I don't think they get paid super well. I guess it depends on the series. It depends on which Gundam pilot you are, but usually you're just there to fight a war, and that's not cool. Only cool part is that you get to pilot a cool Gundam. So yeah, I'm struggling between F and D, but I think it's gonna be an F tier as well, just because like, if you're not a good Gundam pilot and you're just piloting one of those like random like fucking the Rolly one or whatever, I don't know what it's called, or like the gunship or whatever, you're not gonna have a good time. You're just gonna be in a cool spaceship while you die. So yeah, that's gonna be an F tier for me. All right, next up is going to be somebody who works in cybersecurity in the world of Digimon. Okay, so if you know Digimon, basically all the people that they're fighting within the world of Digimon are viruses, like computer viruses. So I'm not talking about being a Digitamer. Okay, that'd be fun, but that's not a job. That's just like what you have to do, you know, it's thrust upon you. But like actually working in like, say, the tech field, and your software or whatever is getting, you know, eaten up by this virus, and you have to constantly like work and try to figure out how to do it, I think it would be a pain in the butt. You know, I don't work in the world of tech, so maybe that is currently what's happening right now. Everybody has to always fight off like constant threats of like security breaches and all that stuff like that. So, but I just feel like in the world of Digimon it's worse, just because we get to see them manifested as like monsters and stuff like that, and we've seen the movie how it like gets out into the real world. It gets crazy. So I just feel like you're constantly having to work. But I do think that, I know for a fact that people who work in the world of like tech and like, you know, in this field, they make a pretty good amount of money. And I feel like if you're in the world of Digimon, you're constantly having work, so that's job security right there. You're always going to get some sort of work, and it just might be a little bit hard, just like having to always do it. But the money, man, you get the money. So I don't know, but then again, maybe you don't have enough time to spend the money. I didn't think about that. But assuming that you just clock in 9 to 5 or whatever, and you're working in the world of, you know, cybersecurity in the world of Digimon, pretty decent gig, I would say. Especially if you're good at it, you know, it wouldn't be too hard for you. So I'm gonna give this an A because of the fact that you're getting paid well, and you're not doing any like, you know, actual physical work. It's all like mental. So it's not too hard on your body. You could probably do it for a long time. So yeah, pretty decent gig if you can get it. All right, the world of Digimon. Become a cybersecurity defense force man, whatever. Okay, next job is kind of what people really want to do nowadays, and you know, especially in the world of anime, it's even worse. It's magnified. It's going to be an idol. You know, somebody who is worshipped by everyone, somebody who can sing and dance and entertain. Essentially what we have in the world of like YouTubers and like streamers and stuff like that, except you are like the face of like innocence and good, and people are just like, oh, I love you so much, especially in the world of Japan, how they're like idolized. That's why they're called idols. So yeah, this is like a job that you think would be cool, but I think it would not be that cool. It would be very like mid. It's a C tier job for me, and that's only because you know, if you've seen Perfect Blue, that world, the dark side of it, how like you can have crazy fans who stalk you and, you know, constantly want to like be around you and touch you and just, you know, mess with you all the time. It can be very stressful. Even celebrities nowadays, it's hard for them to get privacy. You know, it's like, well, you make a lot of money, so what does it matter if you run your friends? Like, I get that part of it. Like, you know, if you meet a fan on the street, you can say hi. You don't always be like, oh no, I'm eating right now with my family or whatever. It's like, oh, dude, it's like 2 seconds, take a picture, you're making all this fucking money. So yeah, the money would be good. It's just the other side of it, where like if you're not living the world of a celebrity, you don't have to deal with like that side of it, like the crazy fans and like the constant bombardment. It could probably be very wearing on you, especially if it gets to the point where you get a stalker. So yeah, I think that's like C tier. It could just be like a case of what you see is great, yeah, all this money and stuff like that, but also I'm constantly not having privacy. I'm maybe feeling empty inside because you think I have everything, but I don't have everything, and sometimes I don't have access to everything I want. Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's a scale of like, oh, do I want privacy or do I want money and fame? It's like, oh, what do you want? So yeah, I think it's just a very C tier. Like, it could be cool, the money's great, it's just there's some parts that we don't see that might be a little bit more difficult for those people who are in the position. And you're constantly having, especially like if you're an idol of that caliber in the world of anime, you have to always have like the perfect image to yourself. You can't like ruin that by doing anything. You're like always having a spotlight on you, and that could be very annoying. So yeah, it's just a lot of pressure from the outside world. So yeah, I would give it a C tier. Like, it sounds cool on paper, but it's probably not. And then finally, our last job I have here is going to be another S tier. It's going to be a gym leader from Pokemon. How sick would that be, you know? You don't really have to do it all the time. We've seen, you know, all the gym leaders that we see, they're always like doing something different in the world of Pokemon. Every time you show up in the game, they're not there. They're off doing a side quest. So you don't always have to be in the gym. All you gotta do is show up maybe once or twice a day, battle some kids, crush their dreams, or make their dreams come true, and that's it. I'm not sure how the pay is, but you do get worshipped around the town, so maybe you get little hookups here and there, like a free meal, you know, there, here you go, you're the gym leader. So I think it'd be cool. I think you would just, if you like Pokemon, you're just battling kids all day, and that's the best part to me in Pokemon, is the battling, you know. The adventuring is cool, you know, meeting friends, yada yada, but for me, like, when it comes down to it, just like, let's have a battle. Let's just, my Pokemon versus your Pokemon, let's see where we're at. And I think that's cool. It would just be like being a sports star, I guess. You just work and constantly practice, you know, and learn new techniques every day and whatever. And then if you want to be like an Elite Four member, you could also do that and be like furthering your abilities as a trainer and as a battler. So yeah, for me, I think gym leader would be an S tier just because it's a cool job. It's like I said, you're just like a sports star, and who doesn't want to like play a sport for a living, just shoot a basketball or like battle some Pokemon. It's a very cool job. All right, so that's all the jobs. Hopefully by now you have a good idea of what you can apply for, where your skills will be best used. So come back next week and we'll talk further about your career options, okay? And your retirement plan, all that stuff. We'll get that set up next time. And as always, if you like what you see, you know, you can go down and subscribe down below. We're almost at 600. We're like halfway there, basically. If you want to follow us, our Instagram and our TikTok is also in the description below. And in the comment section, if you want to leave, what is your favorite job, or like your worst job that you've seen ever in the world of anime, or what is a job that would be cool to have? Any of that stuff, let us know down below. We appreciate that. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. And until next time, go apply for a job, you fucking degenerate.